Hey guys, what's up? We are now live here in Black Biz, Los Angeles. Let me push record before I forget. So yes, thank you guys for joining in. We're excited to have you join us this evening. It is Friday. We're excited. We're in the first weekend of half of the year, right? The 2021 is like zooming past us like crazy. Thank you guys for joining in. We are live here in Black Biz Los Angeles. I'm your girl, Mecca Anderson, your personal wealth strategist. My mission is to help families become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent by creating a foundational, systematic way, easy breezy for you to make sure your finances are doing what you want them to do. But here in Black Biz Los Angeles, we are here to connect to resources, right? So yes, I am one of the resources, but there's so many other resources here. And one of them is sharing who you are and what you do within the community, the businesses that you have in the community. And we're here to support that. We're here to help you make that grow. And so today we have Ricardo Piper here today. And we're going to be talking about some great things because Ricardo got some things in the works that will definitely help our community when it comes to mental health, right? And mental health issues.
Yep.
And so we'll be talking with Ricardo today about that. But before we get started, I just want you guys to know, and I want you guys to tune in and get connected with Black Biz Los Angeles. It's a mastermind. It's an opportunity for you to actually grow your business, to grow your net worth, to grow your network. And so don't miss out on that opportunity. While it's free, it's free. It just costs you your time, which is an investment into yourself to learn about other resources that will enhance you personally and enhance your business. We are here to make sure that our community is building and that we are just getting better within our community and creating the opportunity to have the resources available that's not usually available. And one of them is mental health, right? Having access to health advocates for our mental health. And in our community, we go through a lot and we don't realize that affects our mental health. So Ricardo, how
Yes,
are you this evening?
I am good. Thank you. Thank you so much for finally, doing the show with me. I'm like nervous but thrilled to be at the same time.
Oh, you family, Ricardo. I don't know if you know, but you're family. So
Oh, I
there's
know.
there's absolutely no reason why you should be nervous because we need what you are providing. We need the information that you
Right.
have, and so we're excited. So tell us a little bit. Where are you from, Ricardo?
So, I was raised in the Bronx. I was born in Jamaica, raised in the Bronx. I've been in California now for I think 3 years now. And
Okay.
a part of being in California had to do with my mental health as well. Like a lot of things about me um, has to do with mental health. A lot of the changes in my life has to do with mental health. And it really started when I started actually advocating for mental health because I got educated on what mental health actually was. There was a time where I really didn't know what it was. There was a time where um, being sad, being sad meant you were depressed, or not taking things real serious. But once I became an advocate for it, and it was just something that I evolved into. It wasn't like I just decided. I woke up one day and like, okay, I'm going to advocate for mental health. It's just something that I actually just fell into.
Okay. So give us a little bit about your background. Like, what do you do, and what was the thing that got you to say, okay, I need to start advocating for this issue within myself, within my community, whatever that may be. So
Right.
tell us a little bit.
So, I mean, I guess now I can call myself an app developer, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But I actually started Supgro, which is the name of my organization, a company. And Originally, when it started, it was actually called Adapt to Anything. So it's funny because I totally forgot what adapt to any, like how adapt to anything even came about. And I was doing a little bit of research for this interview. And when I checked back, I actually started adapt to anything. It was originally a comic book idea of mine. Back then, I used to do comic books, and it evolved into wanting to help people just adapt to any situation, you know, like any type of hardship. I think at the time it was actually helping a lot of writers in the comic book industry because comic books were predominantly artists. So it grew and grew until I turned it into like a blog where I wanted to inspire people by hearing other people's stories. So I would interview like maybe about 2 or 3 people per week. And I would write an article and put that article up on Adapt to Anything. And it was gaining a lot of traction. And that's where it evolved into mental health. It wasn't really about mental health at the time because, like I said, I didn't know exactly what mental health was. So after talking to a few people whose loved ones committed suicide, who had self-harmed, went through really bad anxiety, I started to learn more about it and see how actually serious these things were. So the thing about it is a lot of people started coming to me because the website started getting a lot of traction and a lot of people started venting to me, and it was actually starting to overwhelm me.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, I really, people need this and I really want to keep doing it. What, what way can I create something where it doesn't stress me out as much? Because I mean, if I get burned out too much, I can like quit the whole thing. And I didn't want to do that. So I decided to create a social network. And I was like, through a social network, everybody could, rely on each other more than just rely on me. So it took a lot of the focus on me. So that came the idea of Supgro. Supgro came because I didn't want to use adapt to anything. It was too long. I'm like, social network has to have a catchy name. So I came up with Supgro one day. And by the way, that's short for support group. So after putting that together, it didn't work out any way I wanted it to, and there's a lot in this story that has to do with entrepreneurship and has to do with mental health.
Okay.
And for the business side, a lot of it didn't work out for years, the way I wanted it to. I did manage to actually convert the website into a social network, but it wasn't the most secure social network, and when you have anything to do with mental health in that capacity, security should be like one of the main things that you work on. So I really, the way they built the site, it wasn't really my vision. I had to compromise a lot, and it was very basic. Um, and I decided that I wanted to create an app for it. And the mistake I made, and this is on the business side, the mistake I made was deciding to create the app. And because the website was doing good, I took my focus off of the website to work on the app. So that was a big mistake. So fast forwarding to now, fast forwarding to 2020, um, the job that I was working was like extremely like messing with my mental health, like in a bad way, was messing with my marriage and everything. And, I talked to God about it. And, he told me that I should leave that job. And I left the job in March of last year. And I buckled down to learn app development because I was like, I can't depend on someone else to put my vision out there. It
Right.
didn't work And it also cost me a lot of money to do it last time. And it was like, it cost a lot of money and I didn't get what I wanted, you know?
Yes. Wow.
So I decided to learn app development that whole year. And by December, I was able to actually launch Supgro in the Google Play Store.
Awesome. So everyone can find this app, this support group, and it's Supgro, right?
Supgro, yeah.
Yep.
Supgro.
Yeah. So they can find that in the Google Store.
Google Play Store. Yeah, I
Google Play
haven't
Store.
released it for Android just yet. That's a whole nother beast I got to tackle.
What is that
Um,
about? What is that about?
it's just what I had to work with. I didn't own a Mac. I owned Windows, so that's why I ended up learning Android instead of learning iPhone. I really wish I would have launched it in Apple first, but
Okay,
it's coming up.
so it's available for Android, not Apple.
Right.
Oh, okay,
Right.
okay,
So maybe in
okay.
about the next 2 to 3 months, I can have a version of it released in the Apple Store.
Awesome. Okay, so definitely let's talk, what is mental health? What is that exactly? Because you're expressing that you didn't really know what it was, but I would say I know that everyone goes through some type of I mean, just part of life, right? It's just some type of mental situation where sometimes we don't know what exactly is going on with us and how to respond or how to react or what to do.
Right.
And so I imagine that's what the support group is for, to share and get the support that you need through whatever you're going through, right?
Right.
So let's identify what is mental health.
Okay. So first, it's important to know that everybody has mental health, but not everybody has a mental illness. A lot of people confuse those two things, and mental health could just be the struggles that you go through every day, the stress that you get from your job, the stress that comes from being a parent, stress from finding out you're going to be a parent, just the stress from school, being bullied, just different things can cause mental health, so that's why it's so important that everybody has some type of resource that they can go to or rely on, and me building Supgrew, I like to let people know that it's a place you come to, that it's not replacing therapy. It's actually a place you come to after the therapy, after the yoga session or after the gym. It's something you come for in addition to actually help you out, because a lot of people go to therapy and sometimes they go to therapy one day out of the week or one day out of the month. And it's like, what do you do for the rest of that time? Who do you have to talk to? Who do you have to share with? So I created Supgrew for that reason, let us know how you're feeling, let people support you, because people are there for the exact same reason. I wanted to create Supgrew as a safe space for you to just be able to express yourself without being judged or being bullied.
That's a big deal, especially in the forums that we are now networking and socializing in.
Mm-hmm.
A big thing is that they don't even realize they're bullying. That's they don't realize they're bullying or saying things that will adversely affect people's mental space.
Right.
Right. And which is that's a big deal, especially in our with our youth. And even as adults, we see even like the celebrities and just
Yeah.
recently we had the young tennis player, I can't call her name.
Is it Naomi or
Naomi,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's expressing that she's concerned about her mental health, so she's taking herself out of the room that's causing these stressors.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's something that people should play around with when it comes to people and their emotions and how they feel about themselves or how they are feeling overall. I think in our community we do downplay, oh, you're over dramatic, or you're being too emotional,
Yes.
or you're being
Mm-hmm.
this or that, and those things that you can't just like put them on the shelf of just being just that, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be able to address those things, and having a support group would definitely help that. Are there other things that you would say would help people when they're dealing with traumas, or things that they don't even understand what they're dealing with? Like what would be their go-to? What should they do?
Well, first, I always do recommend therapy. That definitely helps. Psychiatrists, I wouldn't recommend that because that's really for mental illness, you know, and I mean, that's something you can talk to your doctor about, but I do recommend seeing a therapist if you really, really feel someone to talk to and you can't, and you know, sometimes you can't reach out to your friends. You know, sometimes you don't want your friends to know what you're going through. Sometimes you can't talk to your family either, you know, and I
Right.
know, especially in the Black community, especially me growing up Jamaican, it's like mental health is absent, you know, and unless it's something that you can physically see, there's basically nothing wrong with you. So, and personally, I spent my whole life with ADHD, and I was diagnosed, I think, about 5 or 6 years ago, you know, and it has changed my life so much just knowing, you know, knowing what I didn't know before, knowing why I was behaving the way I was behaving.
Right.
Um, and I mean, it's just, I mean, it's good to, one, seek therapy. Um, it's good to also self-care, know how to really self-care. And it's funny because that's something I had to learn like last year. I was just always either coding or learning. And I would just get so burnt out. And I realized that I'm advocating for mental health and self care, and I don't know how to do it myself. You know,
Right.
like for me, feeling good is accomplishing something, a project I'm working on, code
Yes.
related.
Yes.
And if I get stuck on that, it's the hardest thing because now I'm stuck on the one thing that actually helps me. So it's like you have to find you have to find other methods of self-care,
Yes.
and that's why I say it's like part business and part mental health. They go together, but like it's just it's two different struggles.
Yeah, I understand. I understand the challenge, because it's the thing that can cause the stress, but also the thing that creates happiness and
Mm-hmm.
feeling accomplished and whatnot. And so having that balance and understanding, oh, you know what, I still need to take a break from this,
Yeah.
get my mind cleared, rejuvenate, so that I can focus and go ahead and get back into the project, or into the job.
Right.
So yeah, that's a big deal. Self-care and therapy. And so I would have to say I've had experience where you do get burnt out at work, or with the people around you, your family, or you're just not in a space of feeling content.
Yeah.
And so I have to agree with you when it comes to, you have to understand, not necessarily going to a psychiatrist, because those are the ones that can prescribe you a medication. And from my experience, they want to just prescribe you something. They just want to give you these meds, and they want to get you on these meds and keep you on these meds, right? You're not
Personally, I'm not a fan. I'm not a
I'm
fan.
not either. Absolutely not. I'm not. Now, if you need that, absolutely get
Mhm.
that. But for most people, it's certain little things that you can do that will allow you to release some of those stresses, which is like you taking that time out from whatever assignment project that you're working on, right? Taking a walk, exercising, meditating, writing in a journal, coloring in a book, doing a crossword puzzle, just taking your mind away from whatever you were doing, versus medicating, which is going to numb you to the whole world, right?
Mhm.
And so yes, and another thing with that, and just in business, in my personal business, I deal with a lot of HIPAA and people's medical histories and whatnot, and those things can have an adverse effect on a lot of things that people don't even realize. When you go to a psychiatrist and they prescribe you medication, that
Right.
now you're classified as having a mental illness when really you don't, right? And so you don't want to be put in that group if you're not supposed to be in that group.
Right.
You don't want to be classified as someone with a mental illness if that's not really what you have. And I know that a lot of people, because they are stressed, right? They may have some anxiety or whatever the case may be, but it's not to the degree in which they need to go get medication for. So you have to be very careful because that stuff is on your record, your medical record, and that can affect other things because now, jobs may want to see your medical, depending on what type of job it is, they want to see your medical history, right? And if you have an illness, a mental illness on there, that can affect you. I know that people that work for the airport, you can't have a mental illness classified as a mental illness on your, because now you're not qualified to work in that environment, which can be highly stressful. So that's something that you just want to be present to when you're talking about taking care of your mental health. Yes, get the help you need. Get the app Supgro, right? Get the app Supgro and join the group, join the community, so that way you can have the support that you need around you and the other resources that that's available. And so I love the idea that you had the comic book. So I'm hoping that you're going to go back into creating that comic book for that's like a awesome idea. I don't know.
That was that. It's funny, like that was just another life. You know what? It wasn't another life because I would like to say I took a long pause on it. It's definitely still a passion of mine. And because I'm not the artist, I want to wait until I actually have the money to put out, because it's almost as expensive putting out a comic book as it is to get an app built. Like,
okay.
it's
So I'm just going to, and this is me because my mind I love great ideas and I love to add my little 2 cents to it. But I think that would be amazing if you do just like a little coloring book for the kids.
That would work, yeah.
Because the things that the children are experiencing now, especially with COVID-19, having to stay home, having to Zoom through school and not be able to socialize to the capacity that they're used to, having that adapt to anything concept in the schools is amazing. And mental health is a big deal in the schools. You see children acting out or doing such things because they don't know how to let it go. They don't know how to let it out. They don't know how to express it. And so that'll be an awesome idea, just like a little coloring book just to have for the kids that adapt to anything. That's like a beautiful, that idea is beautiful. And so that's just my little 2 cents.
I'll send you some of the old artwork of some of the characters for that after
I would love to see that. I love that. I love it.
One thing I do want to add too, which was very important for me, and that was learning about myself. That's like my goal for this year. Last year it was learning how to code. This year, the number one thing is learning about myself, learning who I really am, and that has helped me so much because it's just helped me to see little things that I do that I didn't realize, that I was doing. And it helps me to, as someone with ADHD, it kind of helps me to get a little bit more organized, like jotting down when I get up from my desk to go do something. Like I have this ball that I just like throw in like this little hoop, and that's like my thing to just, that like the little fidget spinner, that's like my version of the fidget spinner to just do that. And it's good for me to just like log it down, like, all right, I got up this time to do that, or I got it. And when I look at how many times I actually got up to do it, it was a lot of times. And I'm like, okay, I really have to be a little bit more focused on what I'm doing. I have to learn about these little things that I do that kind of take me away from my work. Like it's great to take a break sometimes. Like it's good. Like one of my self-care. Yeah, you're supposed to. One of my self-care things is playing video games. I used to like just not do it at all because I'm like, I waste time. But if I can find something that just takes my mind completely off of just everything else, that actually helps me to come back and just be more focused. So learning about yourselves, learning about your strengths and your weaknesses, it's important also for your mental health, you know, and just developing who you are.
So you said ADHD, right?
Mhm.
And so I really don't know the full wording, I guess, for the acronym.
Attention deficit disorder. It's ADD, it's ADD and ADHD. ADHD is attention deficit hyper disorder. And yeah, so they usually classify them as the same thing.
Okay.
I ended up getting off the medication for it. And I realized that the medication works differently. When you're learning, for me at least, when I'm learning, I don't really need the medication, especially learning coding. Probably at school is different. But when I'm coding, it helps me focus a lot more. So, go ahead.
You're learning about coding,
Right,
you don't need it
right,
because you're learning about it. But
right,
applying those codes and doing the actual coding
right,
itself, you need it.
right. And the reason for that is when I'm learning, there's a lot of points where I get stuck on. And I get so frustrated with these pieces of things that I get stuck on, and I have to spend some time on it. When you're learning, you got to spend some time on it.
Right.
But when you're actually building something, yeah, you do get stuck on it, but your mind flows a little bit easier. So for me, I need that help a little bit to just consistently keep flowing. Learning, I'm always going to have to stop, like always. There's no way around that. I have to stop. So I don't need the medication for that. But to just keep going, I need that. I need it for, you know, just that consistency.
And I don't know if you know, but is that disorder something that can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Can
Managed?
that not managed, but because I know it can be managed, but is it something that can be developed like later on in life, like later on, like you're not, that's not something that you had in high school or in elementary, but in your adulthood, you are experiencing those symptoms of having ADHD or ADD.
Um, I think that I'm not sure about. I know some like I know that there's different levels to it. There's some people who they cannot focus at all without medication at all. And they see that early when they're kids. There's some people who can still function and make it all the way to adulthood, but then just doing certain things, you know, especially the way your job wants you to do them,
Right.
you know, it can get a little bit stressful for you where you don't realize, why am I so stressed? Like, I love this job like 6 months ago. Why don't I love this job right now? Like, what's going on? What's changing? Like, and you start to realize as an adult. Now, the best thing for me was finding it out as an adult. I had the time to learn about myself. So as a child, you don't get that chance. You know, as a child, it's just medication is all you know to feel good, you know. And I would personally suggest that if it's not to extent where it's um affecting their schoolwork, you know, then I wouldn't suggest the medication just yet, you know. Like, learning about themselves is a little bit important, you know, in terms of, you know, yeah, their development.
Wow, that's this is amazing. This information is good. And definitely just knowing there's a community out here that can support you through your mental supporting your mental health. Just, advocating for your mental health and having a free space to share and dive in to learn more about yourself and to make sure that you stay on a healthy path when it comes to your mental health. So
Yeah.
Supgro, Supgro, get the app. And there's a website as well, right?
Yes, that's subgrow.com.
And supgro.com. Is there anything else that you have going on in the community or that the community should know about that will help with their mental health?
Um, right now it is really just Supgro, and I'm just I'm just in the process of I'm still in the process of growing and building everything on the app, and there's a new feature that I want to work on, and it's very similar to a support group where you either do voice or video sessions, like maybe 30-minute sessions, support groups where people can just come and gather together and, talk about what they're going through and what has helped them, and stuff like that. So, I mean, everything I'm working on is right now still, Supgro related. It takes up so much. It takes up a lot of my time because I am still learning as well. So I go from learning to developing, and then a member tells me there's a bug, then I got to jump back on there and I got to fix that bug. So it's just it's constant work. So yeah, self-care is important for me.
Okay, because you coded the app.
Yeah.
And so yes, you're the maintenance behind everything.
Yes.
So yeah, so that is that. And so is coding with the like the binary numbers or something like that? Is
Mm-mm.
it no? Oh, okay.
There is a specific language where it's just binary numbers. I don't remember what that is, but no, this
Okay.
one is you're learning a different language, so to speak.
Okay.
Is it hard? You know what? No, I'm not gonna say it's hard, but you just have to have the determination to do it. Um, Once I put aside that I'm not too old to learn this,
Yeah.
and I don't care how long it takes, because that was a big one for me. It was like, man, I need to finish this in like 2 to 3 months. You watch everybody on YouTube, a lot of them did it in like 3 months, and I was like, you know what?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I mean, and that's the thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
that's
it's all
another
good.
thing that affects our mental health is that we're watching what other people are doing
Mhm.
instead of just doing what we need to do for
Exactly.
us. That affects that comparison, or I want to get it done in a certain time, and it's absolutely not. Who said you had to get it in that done in that time? Like who said you
Exactly.
had to do it? Who said you couldn't do it after the age of 35? Or who said that? You're putting those we have to
Yeah.
stop putting those limitations on ourselves and just go for what we know and just do it. It's going to get done when it's supposed to get done, right? As long as you're doing the action to make sure that it gets done, it's going to get done.
Yep.
So that's a big deal. I know that's something that me personally that I've done is put those pressures and those time limits on myself,
Yeah.
and it's we're creating the stressors that we don't have to create.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so definitely but that's a big thing. So you've created the app, the forum for it, and now and you developed the application. So are you planning to do more with web development or app development?
I am. Um, even when this thing like really blows up and I can hire teams and everything, I still want to. I still want to keep going with app development, at least for the most part, app development. I don't know if I want to go into web, but the next step is Apple, like learning how to do iOS. And they say once you learn one language, the other languages are a bit more easier. So I'm about to find out if that's true.
Right. That's awesome. Subgroup. Is it Subgroup or Subgrow?
Supgro.
Subgrow. Subgrow, Supgro. That's the website, subgrow.com, and also the app on Google Play at the Google Play Store. You guys lock in, join the group, make sure that your mental health is a priority, right? It's a priority. It's just like taking a shower every day. It's part of your
Yep.
self-care, right? It's part of your self-care. And so, yes, link in with Ricardo Piper at subgrow.com and get the app. Thank you guys for joining Black Biz Los Angeles. Or is there anything else you would like to share with our community today?
Just I mean, yeah, just I pretty much said everything, but just like keep learning about yourself, and don't put limitations on what you can do. If you want to do something, just do it. Like no matter what it is, if you feel like, oh, this is going to take me too long to learn, that's no such thing as taking it too long to learn, because even if it takes 2 years or 3 years, I guarantee you're going to end up looking at yourself in those 3 years when that comes, and you're going to be like, dang, I should have learned what I learned, because you're going to be in the same place.
Time's
So
gonna pass anyway, right?
exactly. So if you want to do something, just do it. Don't let anything stand in your way.
Love it. Thank you so much, Ricardo.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Mavis. I got the message. Hey, Mavis. That's one of our BBLA moderators, part of the fam. So you guys, please link in with Black Biz Los Angeles. This is Feature Friday with your girl, Mecca Anderson. Thank you, Ricardo Piper, for sharing about mental health in a support group for your mental health, right? We're always advocating for our community to be better. And this is one way that you can have access to better mental health. And with that being said, if you are a business and you would like to be featured on our Feature Friday, please lock into BBLA, our Facebook group, our Instagram. Just direct message us and we'll get you on the calendar. We thank you so much for joining us this Friday evening. We appreciate you guys' support, and we hope that you continue to join us and advocate for our overall well-being. And shout out to Aisha Kimberly as well, one of our major supporters of the group as well. And that's it for this evening. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you, Ricardo. I told you it was nothing for you to be nervous about. You're just talking about what you know. And like we don't know what you don't know, right? No, definitely. Yeah. So we definitely appreciate you. And we want everybody to make sure that they go ahead and get that app at the Google Play Store. It's so important. Have it, log it, download it ASAP, and join the group. And we'll talk to you guys soon. You have a great evening, a safe weekend. All right.
Take care, guys.
All right. Bye.